Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Premananda Sukhi. Sorry, that's what I could remember. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. I'm going to recite this verse. The words towards the end, they're very nicely expressed and they're very satisfying. A friend of mine was very attracted to learning this sloka because of the way that the words come out. This is the second verse at the very beginning of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda Sahodito. Nityananda Sahodito. Gaudadaya Pushpavanto. Gaudadaya Pushpavanto. Chitro Sando Tamonudo. Chitro Sando Tamonudo. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda Sahodito. Gaudadaya Pushpavanto. Chitro Sando Tamonudo. Vande. I offer respectful obeisances. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. To Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda. And to Lord Nityananda. Sahodito. Simultaneously arisen. Gaudadayo. On the eastern horizon of Gauda. Pushpavanto. The sun and moon together. Chitro. Wonderful. Samdo. bestowing benediction. Tamo nudo, dissipating darkness. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. The ending AU is like a plural, because it's the two brothers. And that was the sound that was repeated in the verse. Chitratamno samondo. The sun and the moon. You should look out for the moon tonight. It's the moon before the Purnim. This is Nityananda Trayodasi. We were travelling with Ramai Swami on the bus party, and we were fasting until the moon rose. So a couple of the boys were standing on the top of the bus, seeing if they could see this beautiful moon rise up over the fields. Same thing on Gaur Purnima, the full moon. It's a very special moon. In our culture, then it's given a particular name. It's the Nityananda Trayodasi and the Gaura Purnima. So this verse describes the simultaneous appearance of the sun and the moon. Sometimes, often you can see that the moon is still in the sky and the sun is just rising. So it's a poetic expression. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, did you find that verse? It's a song. The second part of it is Balaramo Hoilo Nitai. Balaramo Hoilo Nitai. So Nanda Sutta, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Balarama Hoilo Nitai. Krishna and Balaram have appeared again as Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Whenever we open up the scriptures, the first element that is delved into is the process of creation. Shrishti Tattva, the truth about the creation. Krishna is the source of everything. Janmadhyasya Yataha. First verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the beginning, He's the source. He's the source of everything. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, the Summum Bonum. His first expansion is Lord Balaram. Krishna's main role, after being acknowledged as the source, is to enjoy his own pastimes. In order to enable him, to support him, to provide all of the facilities for the creation, for the maintenance, Lord Balaram, his first expansion, manifests. From Lord Balaram, then an expansion known as Mahasankarshan appears. Mahasankarshan then expands into the first Chatuvyuha, Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Shankarshan again. They expand again, a second expansion. Shankarshan. Shankarshan is from all of these expansions are from Lord Balaram. Up to this is still the spiritual world. At the boundary between the spiritual world and the material world, the Viraja River, then we get the entrance down into the material realm. And Shankarshan expands again, or provides the background for the Purusha avatars. The Mahapurush, what's his name? Karana Dakshaya Vishnu. Then he's the expansion of the cosmos. He's coming from the Pradhan, which then is the unmanifested material universe. Then that in a little corner of the unmanifested elements of the material, you get the Mahatattva. A cloud appears. The Mahatattva, from that, again, where they're coming from. They're all coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source. Then Lord Balaram. I'm just describing this just to give a little bit of a context as to who these personalities are. The source of everything. Lord Brahma, he was bewildered. He thought, what's this little blue cowherd boy? He can't be the source of everything. I'm more powerful than him. I'll steal all of his friends, his cowherd boys, and lock them away. Show him my... Krishna just didn't miss a beat. Just expanded himself into all of the cowherd boys to curb the pride of his devotee, Lord Brahma. So there's Mahavishnu, Karnadakshay Vishnu, he lies down on the Karna ocean, and from the pores of his skin, all the universes emanate. Into all of those individual universes, Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters, a second expansion of the Purusha-avatar. And from his navel, Garbha, a lotus flower sprouts. Lord Brahma takes birth on that lotus flower, and from him, all of the living entities, originally from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, all of the jivas are manifested. Lord Brahma is the topmost living entity in this universe. Yesterday we might have heard about the appearance of Lord Varaha. Where did he appear from? Lord Brahma's left nostril. Lord Brahma, his body is not like ours. He's the topmost living entity. He's right up there, just before the border of the material universe. His body is pure intelligence. Still, within that form, he's aware of his external, or his senses, and he suddenly saw something coming from his nostril. Not like us. So, Lord Brahma, he created the material universe, and then all of the living entities, they enter into that universe. When he was going down the lotus stem, the stem was red hot, the red hot stem of the lotus. That contained all of the living entities with all of their desires, passion, wanting to enjoy. So they got the facility. Lord Brahma created them for the facility. Then Kshirodakshay Vishnu expands into the heart of all living entities. He's the super soul. All coming from Lord Balaram. Balarama Hoyalo Nitai. Lord Nityananda is this very same Lord Balaram. Lord Krishna performed many pastimes in the material world, killing the demons, fighting. One of his pastimes, he had that chivalrous spirit. The demons, the main demons, the big three demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Ravan and Kumbhakarna, Shishupal and Dantavakra, devotees. As the ages went on, the severity of their relationship with Krishna, it moderated a little bit. Hiranyakashipu, he couldn't stand Nrsingadev. With a vengeance, he saw him bursting out of the pillar, and he challenged him, even though such a powerful creature. Demons just have unlimited potency. They'll stand up to anything. Here's something that's just a threat to me, Nrsingadev. I'll take my sword, like a little blowfly coming and attacking the monster. Eventually, we understand it at the right time. Lord Nrsingadev put Hiranyakashipu on his lap and just tore him apart. All the time, Hiranyakashipu was just antagonistic, fighting against the Lord. His heart was ripped out. Hiranyaksha had also been dispatched, as we heard yesterday, previously, by Lord Varaha. In the next incarnation of these demons, Ravan and Kumbhakarna, Ravan was having the opportunity to hear about Lord Ram. Oh, that human. That human. So he heard about, he was conscious. He in his previous life, Ravan at one stage, he went to get some help in the war. He went to Bali Maharaj. He went to Sutala Loka. Bali Maharaj said, okay, I'm your grandfather, you've suddenly come to visit me. What's the occasion? You never talk to me, you never come visit me. Why are you here? Oh, I just came for your darshan, I just wanted to pay my respects. So then after a while, Bali Maharaj said to Ravan, now come on, why are you here? So Ravan said, I need help. This human is challenging me. I stole his wife. So Bali Maharaj said, give Sita back. Give back Sita back. Ravan said, no, I'm determined. So Bali Maharaj said, yeah, sure, I'm your grandfather. I feel affection towards you. I'll help you. I'll give you some opulence so you can expand your war machinery. Ravan was pleased. As a demon, you need more facility to fight. So Bali Maharaj said, just around the corner, it's for you, it's a gift. Ravan peered around the corner, there's this big, huge mountain of gold, studded with little jewels. Mountain of gold, huge mountain. So he thought, okay. He told Bali Maharaj, yes, thank you very much. I'll take it. So Ravan, he started to put his hands underneath the hill to try and lift up the mountain. And he got it a little bit off the ground. And then suddenly he got stuck, couldn't move. The mountain had come down and squashed him. And he said, help, Bali Maharaj, help me. So Bali Maharaj came and said, what's the problem? You're powerful. It's just an object, a material object. What's wrong? He said, no, help me. There's something special about this mountain. So Bali Maharaj stepped back and said, my dear grandson, this mountain was once the earring of Nrsingadev, who killed you in your previous appearance. And you can't even lift it, you can't even approach it. Give up your worthless endeavour. Give back Sita. Ravan said, no, never. I'm the Supreme. So he had some feeling for Lord Ram. At the moment of his departure, Lord Ram came after fighting with him, doing all sorts of things to try and dispatch him. He was there, he released his arrow. Ravan, he saw him, he recognised him, and in his death throes he was conscious of Krishna, of Ram. Still antagonistic. Shishupal, the next form incarnation. Was he born with 3 eyes and braying like a mule? He was advised to just, for the good of the dynasty, don't allow him to live. 3 heads. Whoa. 4 heads is probably easier, but 3 heads. The 3 heads. Krishna came to his mother and understood, could say something about his future. He understood this personality is really envious. He's a real demon. He's going to give everybody trouble. But I'll tolerate that. I'll tolerate all of his insults and offences up to a point. I can tolerate anything, but don't push me. So Krishna was the object of Shishupal's meditation. And the final straw was when Krishna was offered the topmost respect at the Rajasuya Yajna. And so he started, he just couldn't control himself. He was just, how can you say that he is the topmost human being? He is Narudama. He's the lowest. Of course, every time that he spoke about Krishna, because Krishna is all auspicious, then the mother of education, goddess Sarasvati, she would give a double meaning to his words. She would twist his tongue, and he was glorifying Krishna. Everybody else, they became incensed. The whole audience was ready to take out their weapons and behead Shishupal. Finally, Krishna was sitting there just patiently. He had some counter stones. 88, 89, 93, 95, 98, 99, 100. At the 100th insult, he summoned up his Sudarshan chakra and just, so as to not disturb the audience anymore and not to create too much blood, he just decapitated Shishupal. Dantavakra, he met with a similar end. So that's the three incarnations of the great demons. They got closer and closer and closer. They were not satisfied though. They wanted to engage in some service. They wanted to get involved in the pastimes of the Lord. So they appeared again in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai. These demons are pretty empowered. They're pretty full-on personalities. They don't have to have fangs and red coppery beards and all sorts of nasty things. They just have an attitude, a mentality. Some of the big demons we've experienced in our lifetime, people like Idi Amin, Adolf Hitler, especially empowered living entities, to be antagonistic. Adolf Hitler, he understood the Vedas to a certain point. He adopted the swastika, but he put it back to front. So instead of it being auspicious, it was completely inauspicious. And they were empowered living entities to create woe and misery and to create some impetus in the society amongst the people to become purified through nasty means. Deviant philosophies, hedonism and impersonalism. So the two big demons who appeared in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda were Jagai and Madai. Garuda is going to go from the beginning to the end of the lifetime of Lord Nityananda. So he has all the lovely storytelling capacity and the graphic descriptions. I'll let him tell in detail about Jagai and Madai. But essentially, these demons, they were born in Brahminical families, same as Ravan, same as a lot of the demons. But they were the definition of a demon is one who is antagonistic. Doesn't want to follow the principles, doesn't want to follow the laws of God. They want to usurp the laws of God. So Jagai and Madai, they've just performed all sorts of sinful activities. In this way, they disregarded the laws of nature. Somehow or other, by great good fortune, obviously they were servants of the Lord, then they camped nearby where the Lord and his associates were having kirtan. So they would hear the kirtan, and every now and again in their drunken stupor they would sing along. Radhe, Radhe, Hare, Hare. Lord Nityananda Avadut, Avaduto Shiromani, the topmost Avadut personality. He was deputed by Lord Chaitanya to go and preach, to deliver the fallen conditioned souls. So they were going door to door, and on their tour, Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, they noticed these two drunken, in Australian vernacular, yobbos. Lord Nityananda discussed with Haridas, if we could deliver these two, then that would be a real feather in the cap for Lord Chaitanya. It would be a real credit. It would show the wonders of his mercy. And Haridas, he was older at the time. He was a bit more cautious. And he held back and said, well, just look at them. They're not very receptive to preaching. They're not going to suddenly give up their bad habits and adopt Krishna consciousness. Lord Nityananda said, no, it's possible. So he approached Jagai Madai in a very humble manner, as we were hearing Srila Prabhupada, the preaching strategy in this day and age is not to condemn somebody. Even if they're the greatest debauchee, first you glorify them. My dear sir, you are very intelligent, you're very wise, very beautiful, very smart, you're a very prominent personality in society. You have all these good qualities. So then you've got their ear. Once they're favourable, you will say, okay, with all of your good intelligence, give up everything you know and apply your intelligence to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you'll understand he is extremely merciful, extremely wonderful. So Lord Nityananda, he approached Jagai and Madai in a very humble mood, and he begged them, my dear sirs, please just chant the holy names. Hare Krishna. They couldn't believe what was going on. Everybody was frightened of them. So Lord Nityananda continued again. His humble appeal eventually made some sense to one of the brothers. I think it was Madai. And he thought, this is not an ordinary personality. This is a very special personality. Okay. But Jagai, he was not in accord with his brother this time. He immediately looked around for a wine pot, a clay wine pot which they had been drinking. He picked it up and he smashed the head of Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda accepted the blow. It's like sometimes Garuda would be, he's extremely powerful, the ranger in the skies. He'd be fighting and couldn't be defeated. But in order to honour Lord Indra, then he would allow his wing to look a little bit damaged. So Lord Nityananda, he doesn't have any blood or any fluids flowing through his body. Some blood appeared. His body is not material. So some blood appeared, and again he came and he requested, please just chant Hare Krishna. The message got to Lord Chaitanya, so he immediately, how dare they insult my devotee? He came, he was there, he was on the spot with his Sudarshan chakra, ready to kill them. Lord Nityananda had to intercede. He implored Lord Chaitanya. Madai, he tried to stop Jagai. Please forgive him. Please give your mercy to him. Please forgive him. And Jagai, he saw that Madai, his brother, he'd suddenly been relieved of all his sinful activities. Yamaraj was with his scribe. These two sinful demons, they clocked up so many sinful reactions. The servants of the Lord of Death, they keep a note, a record of all of your sinful activities. They normally inscribe it on the inside of your skull. So Jagai and Madai's skulls were already full to the brim. So they'd started writing them in books, in volumes of books. They'd filled up warehouses listing all of the sinful reactions of Jagai and Madai. Madai, by the intercession of Lord Nityananda, he'd been relieved of all those sinful reactions. Chitra, the scribe of Yamaraj, couldn't believe what happened. Just clean slate. He understood it was the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So then Jagai, he looked at his brother and he looked at the situation. He was about to be decapitated. He pleaded, please forgive me as well. I'm not different from my brother. We're brothers, we're equal. And Lord Chaitanya said, you have offended my devotee. I cannot forgive you. You have to beg for forgiveness from Lord Nityananda. So Lord Nityananda picked him up and embraced him, and he was able to be delivered. When those sinful reactions were removed, sinful reactions just don't go, disappear. They have to be absorbed. So Lord Chaitanya's beautiful golden form became blackish. He absorbed all of the sinful reactions. And there's a statement made around that time that those sinful reactions, they get absorbed by the non-devotees, the people who are antagonistic to Krishna consciousness. They become the repository of all the sinful reactions. Just like the Prime Minister of the country, he is responsible for all the citizens. If the citizens do good, then he gets the benefit of 1/6 of the good karma of all the citizens. I remember a long time ago, the only time I really voted, the Prime Minister, he was a handsome man, Bob Hawke, came into power, very young looking. Within a year or two he was haggard and grey, and not really, the citizens had offloaded all of their karma onto him. So all of these sinful reactions, Lord Chaitanya absolved them. Jagai and Madhu were now a clean slate. They were free to move forward with their devotional service. So the demons, Krishna likes to fight with them. In this day and age, the fighting is in terms of killing the demoniac mentality. Killing the demoniac mentality. Lord Nityananda, he was employed by Lord Chaitanya to preach in the area of Bengal. Lord Chaitanya, he preached mainly to the aristocracy, to the higher people. He converted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was the court pundit for the king. Prabodhananda Saraswati or Prakashananda Saraswati, he was the leader of 60,000 Mayavadis. So he preached to him and made him their followers. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya was the main source of delivering those personalities. Lord Nityananda, he went to the Bengal province and he was engaged in Namhat preaching. Namhat preaching. He was going everywhere, chanting and dancing and just giving people the mercy of Lord Gauranga. There's a couple of statements in the prayers and in the scriptures that Lord Nityananda, he's won over. If somebody chants Gaur or Gauranga, there was a big program in Scotland about Gauranga, preaching program. The devotees were distributing books and they were distributing stickers, and everybody they would tell about Gauranga. Gauranga. Gauranga! Nityananda! So whenever Lord Nityananda hears somebody say Gaura, then he feels impelled to give his mercy. There's no way you can get Lord Chaitanya's mercy without getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda. You can't get the mercy of Lord Nityananda without getting the mercy of the 6 Goswamis. So this program in Scotland, everybody went for 2 or 3 years. Eventually they got billboards and they put up, "Who is Gauranga?" And everybody in the whole of Scotland, they were asking, "Who is Gauranga? Where is Gauranga? Who is Gauranga?" And this way everybody started to get benefited, get uplifted. So I was meditating on who is Lord Nityananda? Who is Lord Nityananda? Nityananda. He's the first expansion of Krishna, Lord Balaram. In Krishna's pastimes, Lord Balaram, he supplies the bed, the Brahman thread, the shoes, everything for Lord Krishna's pastimes. So Lord Nityananda, in the same supportive mood to Lord Chaitanya, he supports. He support, and the main function of Lord Chaitanya is to distribute that love of God. There's 4 external reasons why Lord Chaitanya appears and 4 internal reasons. The external reasons are about preaching, distributing the holy names. The internal reasons are to taste the mood of the love that his servitor, Srimati Radharani, has for him. So Lord Nityananda, in a similar fashion, he's non-different. Lord Nityananda, Krishna and Balaram, they're the same, difference in colour. Lord Nityananda, they're brothers. Lord Chaitanya, they're brothers. The specifics of how they They reunited. We'll let Garuda talk about that, in the house of Nandanacharya. So Lord Nityananda who is Lord Nityananda? Nityananda. Nityananda. Eternally blissful personality. Avadut. Avadut. Avadut means not strictly following the rules and regulations. Lord Nityananda was often described as being intoxicated. We were told, if you see Lord Nityananda go into a bottle shop, then you have to understand the nature of his personality. He's not going to perform sinful activities. When he would do that, the devotees of his time would hear about it. They said, Lord Nityananda, he's gone into a bottle shop. They would say, he's intoxicated, he's drunkard. That's who he associates with. He goes and associates with those people who are in a likewise state. It's hard to understand the mood of the Avadut. Lord Nityananda, after reuniting with Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda was 12 years older than Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Nityananda, when he reached the age of about 12, he left home. The sannyasi came and invited him to go on pilgrimage. So he was travelling around Parikrama for many years. And at a certain point, he understood. Lord Chaitanya started to manifest his preaching pastimes. I have to go and be with my brother. So he came and joined Lord Chaitanya. After that time, then the two of them were engaged in different preaching activities. So Lord Nityananda, sometimes he would appear before his brother, Lord Chaitanya. He'd come into the house and he'd be naked, dancing around in the courtyard. And Lord Chaitanya, first off, he would marvel at the wonderful, handsome features of his brother. But then after some time, he would try and dress him, try and get him to calm down. We had a glimpse of that mood of Lord Nityananda dressing the big Panchatattva deities in Mayapur. First you had to undress them. So all of the other personalities, there would be a bit of a struggle to take off the dhoti. Lord Nityananda, it would just be off. It would fall off. He was so happy to just be there without his clothes. Also in this mood of a naughty cowherd boy, Lord Nityananda, he approached the wife of Srivas Thakur. His wife's name was Malini. Is that right? Malini? And Malini, he would approach her in the mood of she's my mother. He would approach his mother and she would feel affection for him. She was older. She was no longer breastfeeding. Lord Nityananda would want to drink milk, so milk would manifest in her breast. Lord Nityananda would take the milk from the breast of Mother Malini. Mother Sachi, she lost her son, Vishwarup. She blamed Advaita Acharya. He's been preaching to my son. He took sannyas. He disappeared. And then after he took sannyas, then he wandered around. They didn't see him for some time. Then suddenly Lord Nityananda appeared. And Lord Chaitanya introduced him to his mother. Here's Vishwarup. He's come back again. Vishwarup was a manifestation of Shankarshan. So Lord Nityananda, he's the source of Shankarshan. And Mother Sachi immediately accepted him as the brother of Lord Chaitanya. Mother Sachi, after she was, Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, she used to cry in separation, Nimai, Nimai, Nimai. That's her mood with her son. So Nitai would also, my son, my son. Nityananda, he joined Lord Chaitanya. And Brutal told some of his funny pastimes, his playing with his cowherd boyfriends, in Ekachakra. Has anybody visited Ekachakra? What's your memory of Ekachakra? What's the prominence of Ekachakra Gram? Anything? Lots of cows.
It's a beautiful kund which Nitai manifested for his parents.
Beautiful kund which Nitai manifested for his parents. There's areas there, the Pandavas, they came and visited there. And there's trees which represent, and there was, it's a village. Apparently the road is much better now, and ISKCON has built a big temple there. When we visited, there were mud huts, big thick mud wall huts. And we were either inside one of the huts or outside one of the huts. The mud brick wall, they had windows, but they had a hole. So suddenly this cow put his head through the hole, There was cows everywhere. Beautiful mood, beautiful mood. Ekachakragram. So Lord Nityananda, he appeared there. And with his parents, they also experienced that mood of separation. At the age of 12, their son was taken away. They gave him in charity to this sannyasi. And they spent the rest of their lives in that mood of separation, just absorbed in their son. And feeling distraught. He's gone. Just like when the gopis, they were no longer with Krishna. They were just thinking of Krishna all the time. They were stringing garlands to please Krishna. They were just absorbed in his pastimes. So the same thing, parents of Lord Nityananda, they were just absorbed in that mood of separation, just remembering him. It's actually said that mood of separation is more powerful, more effective than being with. Separation makes the heart grow fonder. You're thinking of your beloved. So Lord Nityananda, he was regarded like that by his parents. Whenever he saw a bull or a cow, he would go and try and milk it. Abadut. Go and try and milk somebody else's cow, but he would try and milk it. And Lord Nityananda, he had a pastime where he was invited to lunch with Lord Chaitanya, and Advaitacharya, he was the cook. So Lord Nityananda sat down with Lord Chaitanya and honouring the prasadam, but was immediately in a mood of creating jokes and fun. He started discussing with Advaitacharya, you've invited me for prasadam. Must be time for prasadam. You've invited me for prasadam, but today I was still fasting. I was fasting for 3 days, still I'm fasting. Advaitacharya responded, just be quiet and take your prasadam. Just appreciate what Krishna is giving you. It's very nice. He said, no, I'm starving. Lord Advaitacharya said, I've put enough on your plate for 5 men to eat. He said, still, I'm fasting. There's nothing there. I'm hungry. What's the use of coming to a household place like you? You are you're a kacha grihasta. You're a dirty whitey. You're a sense enjoyer. So Advaitacharya, getting into the mood, he started to throw loving exchanges back to Lord Nityananda, calling him a reject Paramahamsa. You're a bogus Swami. In India, in many places, you'll see bogus sadhus. They work in a shop, and then their afternoon job is to put on saffron cloth and go out begging in the street. Some of them look like clowns, but because they're wearing the cloth and because they're begging, then people, and they become wealthy from that. They make money. Lord Nityananda, reject Paramahamsa. Then backwards and forwards, eventually Nityananda Prabhu, he decided, okay, I've had enough, and he just stepped back from his plate and threw some grains of rice off his plate, off his fingers. He was eating with his hands. Some of those grains of rice, they landed on the dhoti of Advaitacharya, and who immediately felt ecstatic because of the touches of the Mahaprasadam and started dancing. It's said that anybody who tries to understand what's going on here in the wrong mood, then they'll create offences that these two personalities can be involved in this exchanges of love, but that appear to be insulting each other. So Lord Nityananda, he was expert in manifesting these moods. In Bengal, in his preaching, they would have kirtan. They'd be wandering through the countryside. They'd be heading in a certain direction, and in their ecstasy of kirtan, they would get lost, wandering toward the Ganga, and then they would ask questions. Where's the Ganga? Where are we going? Oh, you've got to go back 3 hours that way. Just so absorbed in kirtan. And sometimes they'd stop in a certain place and they'd have kirtan, and the devotees packing in there, they couldn't find any more place to sit or to chant, to dance. They'd climb up in the trees, and they were dancing in the trees. And they were not just dancing in the trees, holding onto the trunk. They started dancing out along the branches, and eventually they were dancing on the twigs at the end of the branches. They were just so much absorbed in ecstatic. They were not the body. They understood they're not the body. They were absorbed in service to Krishna. The kirtan of Lord Nityananda created so much bliss, Nityananda, so much ecstasy. And also the preaching still today, the preaching is if you meet an exalted personality, that preach, they'd go into a certain place and they would embrace somebody. That person would become infused with love of God. Then that person, be in their mood of loving Krishna, they would go and embrace somebody else, and they would also get the mood. They would become intoxicated in love of God. So Lord Nityananda's preaching was like that. The formalisation of that preaching came about at the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He developed the Namhat preaching system. And there's a nice bhajan. Boro suke kabugai, Boro suke kabugai, Surabi kuntete. It's got some beautiful verses how Lord Nityananda, he set up a marketplace for the holy name. And he's selling the holy name just for the price of one's faith. And the customer will come along and he will assess, what is this person at? What's the level of their faith? How qualified? What is their adhikar? How much can they take the holy name? And often that person will come not on their own, but they'll be introduced by somebody. So that person, they'll introduce, here's the personality who's distributing the holy name. Take the holy name. I'll take my commission and we'll both be happy. You'll become a devotee. I'll become more happy as a devotee. I've been able to do some service. The mercy of Lord Nityananda. So through this Namhat preaching. And in Mayapur, they've got an amazing system of Namhat preaching. They've built special accommodation, big buildings there. 7,000 devotees come for a festival. There's normally 10,000 devotees on a day in Mayapur. So if you get another 7,000, then the place is just impossible. On Gorpanima, you can't get in the temple. Tried to squeeze in the door at the back, it didn't work, so I went around the side, and they have big video screens, couldn't see for Mangalarti. So Gorpanima, big festivals in Mayapur, especially when they're swelled by the Namhat, they have their own buildings. They're very much in the mood of serving. They'll put on little seminars in their building, and they'll provide prasadam, they'll look after, they'll give guidance. So the Namhat preaching, it's a methodology of gathering devotees together, a senior devotee and younger devotees, and then they talk about Krishna, they share about Krishna. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he systematized that. He described that he would be the sweeper of the marketplace. Meaning you create a marketplace, you get people to come together, you have goods for sale, and you have to sweep, you have to clean out the unwanted elements. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur took that role. So Lord Nityananda, he took on the business of trying to preach in the areas where there are lots of rascals, the atheists, the students, the demons. And by his methodology, creating little pockets of enthusiastic devotees, firing up the conscious people, then the mood spread and the influence also spreads. So Lord Nityananda, you don't have to go out and convert everybody. Krishna consciousness is not for everybody, but at least support the people who are favourable, and their influence will affect everyone. So Lord Nityananda, that's his mandate. Of course, he would go and spend time with Lord Chaitanya. He couldn't remain there in Bengal. He'd have to go and visit Lord Chaitanya for the 4 months of the year when the Rath Yatra was going on. But then he would return back to his preaching field. I don't know where he based himself. Lord Chaitanya based himself in Jagannath Puri. Lord Nityananda, wandering sannyasi, 3 days in a different place. Lord Nityananda had 2 wives. Paramahamsa sannyasi had 2 wives, Vasudha and Janavama. And with Janavama, his son's name was Virabhadra Gosai. So Janava, she became the most senior Vaishnava after the departure of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda, his pastimes wound up. He couldn't stand the separation from Lord Chaitanya anymore. So then he departed, and Janava Ma, she became the representative of the Vaishnavas, the topmost representative. Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, they used to perform their pastimes, and the topmost pastime was the Rasa Leela. So Lord Balaram, he had his own circle of gopis who he would engage with. Lord Nityananda, he had his associates, his different branches. They were mainly cowherd boys, the Gopals. So Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, he had his associates, Gadadhar, the manifestation of Srimati Radharani, Lord Nityananda with the Gopals, living, travelling together, spreading the holy names. Ooh, I can't say anymore. Does anybody have any stories they'd like to share about Lord Nityananda, any realizations? He's the original guru, the Adi Guru. I'm always praying to Lord Nityananda to give me intelligence. Source until I have some sort of constant prayer to him, so by default I'm often thinking of him. And he's there with Lord Chaitanya, so every day whenever we worship Gaura Nitai, then Lord Nityananda, he also gets our attention. Sometimes if the deities, they're hard to tell the difference. Here the deities, they're leaning to one side, so you work out if you put Lord Nityananda in the wrong place, then they're not going to fit together. So Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, brothers, Paudui Jana, Parama Karuna, very unique personalities. And on this auspicious day of Lord Nityananda's appearance, we should try and remember, try and implore his blessings, try and follow his mood of distributing love of God to other people. Nityananda Ram ki jai. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahovito Gaudadaya Pushpanto Chitro Sandro Tamondo Sananam. Lord Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.